All right, now for my favorite part of these lessons, the explanation theory talk of it. I really enjoy this part because for me, learning licks is it's really fun. I mean, you get these things under your fingers, but understanding how you can use them and how they're created, how you can come up with these ideas is the part that I really enjoy, because that's where, for me at least, I expand as a player a lot more. Because if I just learn a lick, that's great, but when I understand the concepts behind it and I start incorporating that into my own playing, that's when you start growing as a player. So I hope you guys enjoy this as well. It seems like you guys do, because we get a lot of emails and comments saying so. So I hope if this is your first lesson you're watching with us, I hope you get a lot out of this. And if this is a lesson you've watched, I don't know why I'm talking so much, I just like to talk. But if you've watched these lessons before, I hope you guys agree and enjoy this part of the lesson. So on to that. This idea is based out of, like I said, these little double stops, right? So the chord progression that it's being played over is basically a B minor 7 chord. Then it goes to an A minor 7. Then it goes to a D dominant 7. Then it goes to a D dominant 7, but a D7 flat 9. Then it goes to a G major 7, to a G6 chord, to an F sharp minor 7 chord. Right? So the whole progression is a really typical smooth jazz kind of progression, pop progression. Now, the way this is outlining those chords is really cool, because if you think about the first thing that happens, it plays this octave, right, which is the minor third of B minor. If you think of B minor pentatonic, it's just playing that minor third. Then it's going through this series of intervals. You got third intervals, minor third intervals, and then the same thing there, third intervals. But the cool thing is, again, you really, if you look at the notes, the melody is just really just walking up this scale. Right? And if you look at it in pentatonics, it's just adding that one note. Again, I don't want to get too far into theory with this, so I'm just going to relate this to something simple for people that really primarily know pentatonics. It's B minor pentatonic with one extra note, right? Which is your minor sixth. Now that was all over you have your B chord there, right? And right there is where it changes to your A minor chord. So you have B, and now if you look at that, that's like your in your A minor pentatonic, those two notes being played together, right? So that really nicely fills in that A minor 7 chord. Right? Now it goes to the D7 chord, to your D7 flat 9. And that's where it does this little thing. Right? And the cool thing about that is it's like doing this kind of chord. Over a D note. And what it's doing, it's holding that D note. So now you really punch in that you're over a D chord. You're hearing the root. But then it goes to this, right? Which this note here is your ninth of D, right? And then that note there is your fourth or the 11th, right? And then when it goes to the minor 7 or the dominant 7 flat 9, D7 flat 9, it goes down a half step, but still punches in that D note, right? And those two notes that it's playing, it's moving down this high note to the major third, right? But that second note is going from the ninth to the flat 9, and that gives you that sound of, right? It's a really cool technique, just by simply moving down a half step. And then this chord it slides into over the G major 7 chord, right? And that's just your fifth and your major 7th, and the high note is your ninth. So that's where this little 3-note stab of a chord really outlines, and it gives that ninth, which is a really great interval. Well, major, right? So you have all over D dominant 7 and D minor or D7 flat 9, and that's over a G note, right? And then it goes back to that little double stop, and that's also over the G note. So, and then this is where it gets that half step movement over the G6, and then it does a half step movement into that F minor chord, which, I'm sorry, F sharp minor chord. What it is sliding into those two notes, which is the fifth and the 7th. Right? So that's basically a note-for-note walkthrough of how these intervals are playing off those chords, but you can really hear how they outline everything that's going on, and that's what's really fantastic about this kind of playing. Because again, instead of playing your chords like this, really big full chords, which is great if you're comping alone, but if you're comping in a band, you really don't want to play all that, because the bass note's being covered by the bass player, even maybe a keyboard player. You really just want to stick on a lot of the higher notes, and that's kind of what's going on here. And it's adding a little melody. Just really, really cool stuff. And also pay attention to that little movement of that D7 to the D7 flat 9 to the G major chord. If you notice, there's always a nice little melody going on here. It's going from little chromatic movement. Right? Just really, really cool stuff. So anyway, I hope that helped explain what was going on here. I hope that helps you incorporate this into your own playing, just using little melody notes, even off of pentatonics. Right? Just really, really fun stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't done that. If you do like this, also share it on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And I really hope this helps you guys out. Keep checking back. We got a few more lessons with the George Benson style, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Thanks, guys.